It's your girl Unique Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about. It's your girl Unique Speaks, talking about what I'm talking about, because it's what your girl is all about.
Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. I am your girl Unique Speaks, over here talking about what I'm talking about because that's what your girl is all about. Welcome back to episode 8 of Trauma to Triumph. I hope you're feeling amazing today and ready to get into this testimony, okay? This testimony that exudes the power of God and how He keeps us even through the lowest and ugliest times of our lives. It is absolutely beautiful, and I am enjoying sharing my testimony, even though I may have some moments of emotion. But let me tell you, the emotion is from what God has done and the awareness of the truth and what is done in my life. And I know not only with that God has done it for me, that He is going to do it for you, already doing it for you, has done it for you, and that is a place to rejoice. Amen. So, with that being said, we're going to jump into this episode. We're going to talk about high school. We're going to talk about, that major question: was I a sex addict? Like, what was really going on in my life? What was I really doing? And what the enemy was doing with me? How I'm tell you about that? Like, it is getting deeper, y'all, as we go on to this journey. Right before I graduate, I'm gonna let y'all know high school was a trip, and I got some things to share with you. So let's talk about it. High school days. All right, my high school days have I don't know, like I don't even I just can't even really sum it up besides the fact that say that I was a whole pass around. Um I had to ask myself, was I a sex addict? Because it's very of a blur of what school was like for me. I got into high school ready to join everything. I wanted to be a part of the band. I wanted to be a part of every extracurricular activity because I just need to stay fit. I want to say that going into high school, in spite of what you heard in the last episode, okay, I was determined. I was always determined to be different, but I had a force against me that I obviously didn't know how strong it was. And so after ninth and 10th grade, I'm working. I still had this Raymond in my life. Raymond, that I told y'all that he was this older guy that just wanted to give me money, and I did not have to do anything for it. I talked to him over the phone, you know what I'm saying? Just gave him some good talk, some good talk. We talked for a long time. He paid for the phone bill, so I talked to him, you know what I'm saying? I want to be funny about that because we all know how cake daddies go. We know that they are just the older guys who need a little bit of conversation, somebody to hug them, kiss them on the cheek, or something. But that's just what it was. And to this day, when I look back, I was like, my Lord, help me. Who was she? Was she crazy? Oh, she just did not know how precious life was. I could have been all of that and some more. That fast tail helper. I could have been that little chick over there, that little thought over there, that hoe over there. Whatever you wanted to look at a person and say, I was that. Am I proud? Not at all. But what I can say, my high school days looked like that to me. I want to mention that when I got into high school, I did get on their step team as well. I got in my ninth grade year and I was continuing to step. I didn't mention that I also got an step team in middle school, but they only had it for 1 year, but I enjoyed it. So I continued to step, I continued to dance. So my 10th grade year, after getting my job, I'm telling you what, I did not want to go into my 11th grade year without no car. So I remember that my Raymond, okay, used to get me everything. He even got me a rental car. He kept me in a rental car, okay. I remember he got me one for going into my 11th grade year as well as my 12th grade year. Constantly kept me money in my pocket, kept my phone on, and I would also work. I was working, so I always had money, okay? But I wasn't that person person who went around buying name brand stuff and what everybody else had. I had my own sense of style, about myself. I didn't really want to dress like everybody else. I didn't want to wear my hair like everybody else. I was very, very different. I remember being so different in high school that people could not figure me out. Like they wanted to figure me out, but they just couldn't. Like I said, I've mastered how to be secretive. I've mastered how to, show you what I want you to see, and everything else behind me you didn't need to know about. I hid it very, very well, if I could say so myself. But however, I didn't hide from those who could see, but those who could see, they didn't bother to say anything either. So to me, I was that person that just knew that I would give you what I want to give you, and you can derive your your observations from that. So a lot of people saw me as mysterious, but I was a go getter, not shy. They knew I wasn't shy. I would perform in front of anyone. So that happened a lot. One thing that I could say in high school is that there were some teachers, okay, that I was in class that I enjoyed. And I'm talking about they were just so down to earth. I love their personality, and they allowed me to get away with some stuff. So I used to skip class and go to this class or go to that class and be wherever I wanted to be. How did I succeed to get this grade? Well, I did try. Okay, I tried. I would be in class when I needed to be in class. But around the times when I was in high school, it was just kind of like, seeing people being able to just get on the teacher's good side and you knew how to get a good grade. So, I mean, it was just like that for me. I can't say that I was just some smart, PC person. I was just a person who was just do enough to get me past. And so I want to talk about more. I want to talk about the teachers that were there that actually like me. Yeah, there were some male teachers there. There was one that I would never forget in my 11th grade. Yes, 12th grade, it was a whole other teacher, but the same class. Ain't that something? But this health class, let's talk about health class. Now, in 11th grade, okay, a lot of us are a lot more developed and we're looking like women and your body. But I was that girl who did not look like that individual girl because I carried myself to be more like a woman to me, because of my mentality, the things that I was dealt with, things that I went through already in my life that I just didn't see myself on the level of a child. And so I learned how to look. I learned how to, talk to you through my eyes. I learned how to talk to you through my body language. I learned how men would see me and I could communicate with them without saying a word. I learned those things. And so, and then I learned them just through the experiences, different things, different all the things I went through. And so my 11th grade year, it was this particular teacher, and I'll never forget. He used to look at me, and I used to look at him, but I never wanted to go any further. But however, in on one of the classes, he asked me to come sit behind the desk with him, and so I'm sitting behind the desk with him, and he was turned the lights off and show some type of presentation on the screen, and everybody, was kind of like being themselves. But he's like, "I want you to come up here and help me, so you can change the slide when I'm ready." I'm like, "All right." So I'm sitting next to him behind this small behind this. This man was so huge that that you could really just see his whole body, and the desk was just like a little spot right above his legs. It was just hilarious of how big he was. But as we was continuing class, I remember him, talking to the class as he was teaching. But as he was teaching, he was sitting there rubbing his legs, and only I could see him because I'm sitting behind his desk. And I just remember sitting there, oh my God. And he began to gesture towards his penis area and, forming it through his hands and showing me how big it was and all that stuff. And I just remember like, okay, and I was just that one that like I wasn't the one that was easily moved. You know what I'm saying? You have to work hard, whatever, but not too hard because if I already knew that's what you wanted, and if that's what I wanted, I'll go for it. But he just wasn't it. And there was a lot of different occasions that he tried to get us alone. It just was not happening. I was not. feeling him in that way. But however, he kept trying. So I wanted to mention that because going into my 12th, like not going into, but in my 12th grade year, same class, health class, new teacher, but he was different. He grabbed my attention in a way that the other one couldn't. And so, yes, we exchanged numbers. And I used to talk to him after school. Then I would sneak out my window for him. He was one of those ones that I liked, but I did not like the sexual experience with him. And one thing for sure is that I did not like how he was treating me. I honestly didn't think I was going back home that day, that night that I came out with him. He was one of the ones that I was actually scared. I didn't get really too scared. Not even the time the dude caught me in the woods when I was in middle school. I mean, this was a different situation for me, and I just really felt he was very rough with me, very violent, if you will. So I not to go into like major details. I don't want to hear that, but just know like it was just an experience for me. I just had never experienced, and I was ready to go home. And then he caught me in the classroom. And he knew he wasn't hearing from me anymore. And I was just like, look, dude, I'm just not feeling you. But then he would walk up on me. He would say certain things that would just be like, really get me riled up. I didn't really know how to control. I had no self control whatsoever. And when I tried to have some type of self control, it was nothing at all. So I just knew that this was God protecting me on a lot of different occasions, and I'm just so grateful to this day because I know that a lot of these moments I didn't have to walk away. I didn't have to walk away, at least alive, because most of the times I will walk away pregnant. So I want to talk about my 12th grade year just a little bit more. Because my 12th grade year, this is the finish line. And I knew I was graduating. I knew I was going to walk. I knew everything's going to be okay. So I played a lot in my 12th grade year, just moving around. And I moved around. It was guys who said they liked me. I had to come over to the house. And I wouldn't even see these people no more. Like, it was like one night stands, if you will. Every time I thought someone liked me, that's all it was. And I got used to them not sticking around. I got used to knowing that, okay, if I lay down with them, I knew I wasn't going to see them anymore. I was okay with being with whatever I was being to them and whatever they was being to me. I was completely considered a pass around. And that's what I called it because I wasn't prostituting because I wasn't getting paid for what I was doing unless you wanted to consider my cake daddy, Raymond, who paid me, but he wasn't getting anything. But then those who did give me anything used to get the best thing. That was my body. But I didn't value my body that way. I did not have any morals to even keep me in that place, even though I had a wonderful mother who would have never, and I have never, seen maneuvering this way. So where did these tendencies come from? Where did these ideas come from? Where did this persona of a lifestyle come from for me? TV. TV and magazines, BET, MTV, all the rappers and the singers. I wanted that life without being in that life. And didn't know how to even get to that life. So I would just live the parts that I knew how to do it. 12th grade, after being that passing around not only in high school, then I began to go to my brother's friends. One of my brother's friends used to come around all the time. And yeah, my brother's hanging with him all the time. And remember, I hung with my brother. I hung with my brother. That's never changed from middle school to high school. From once my brother got the car to the time that he was able to drive and do all of that stuff, I was able to do just that. And so I maneuvered with him and found myself at his friend's house. And yes, that happened. Not only did it happen, but yeah, months later I realized I was pregnant. Now this time I did not tell my parents, and although the first time I didn't tell my parents either, it was just the fact that that boy had to tell his mama had to come and tell my daddy, and that's how because I wasn't to the mountains grade too. But then I wouldn't have found out about abortions because once I found out about abortions, definitely let my brother know what had happened. And I put it on his friend because I knew his friend had the money to get it taken care of. So that was my second abortion. Second abortion. Second humiliation. Second murder. Murder. My second child. And even at that time, I did not realize it to be murder. Even at that time, I didn't realize it was just something I was just doing that was so precious that I could have kept it and it changed my life. But not only that, I had no care to even know what I was doing. It wasn't talked about. It wasn't taught. It was just an option. So before I could even graduate high school, I've already had my second wish. And I've already said in my last episode, I couldn't even count on my fingers on my toes of how many men I had dated. I could not count on my fingers on my toes how many people that had been snuck into my home or how many people that I snuck out of my house for. This is the place where we made it to. So what am I about to do about graduation? What am I doing on graduation? What happens on graduation night? How do I spend celebrating me finishing high school? You're going to want to catch episode 9 so you can see how your girl spent high school, my graduation night, how I celebrated it. That is something. And then what do I do with the rest of my life? Because I told you what I did in high school. Wasn't no scholarships coming my way. I went to college? What? I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go, but I had to go somewhere. Because everybody wants to go somewhere. Yeah. Let's go into the next chapter of my life. Graduation, what I go to, what I go through, and how it all began when I am out of my parents' house. Y'all ready for it? Because it's just life. It's the things that I went through. And it's been a long time, y'all. I was still going to church. I was still in church. All right. So, with that being said, I got y'all through middle school and high school of my life, sharing just a few things with you all because it's too much to share. But I just wanted y'all to really see that light of who I was. And I want you to know you can ask me anything. Comment down below anything. I probably have a story for you. And I'm not going down through all the details of the stories because, hey, it'll be a drawn out thing. I have been with a lot of people and I'm not proud of it. But at the same time, I'm not ashamed of my life. I'm not ashamed of what I had to go through. And because of it all, I could never be delivered from it. No one could see it. No one saw this broken girl through all of this. No one could see it. So God kept me hidden for a reason. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to get into it. Stay tuned for these episodes. You don't want to miss it. But I thank you so much for, your prayers. I thank you for supporting me. I thank you for listening. I thank you for taking the time to share it with somebody who you believe that can take heed to these series and truly see that there are people that are walking in their deliverance, walking in their healing and being everything that God has called them to be. And their life looks just like yours. Their life looks just like yours. If God can do it for one, he can do it for all. But there's work to do. There is work to do. We haven't even gotten into the work. I'm just showing you just how much work had to be done and based off of this foundation. Because at this time, we're cutting this off at high school. I'm 19 years old, y'all. Let's go. Let's go. Because the triumph is on the way. God bless you. I love you. And I thank you. See you in the next episode.